Here we will provide you with the sports betting tips, picks, and information in order for you to become a successful gambler. We have 5 packages that I think really do an incredible job of providing the information tailored to you, what you want, and what your sports betting needs are. For more information, reach out to the TWSN team, but we have a ton of stuff coming your way. Content from fantasy football, sports betting for UFC, NBA, NHL, and of course the NFL. We are so excited to be able to bring this service to you, and let us know if there's any more information you need.
Get up, let me begin. This is TWSN. You ain't heard about us yet, well you better know now, because it's the place that it all goes down on.
Welcome back to the TWSN show. We have a jam-packed show for you guys this evening, filled with a lot of basketball with some NFL mixed in, as always. But before we get into things, here's your weekly reminder. Follow along on the TWSN social medias, on the Twitter, the Instagram, Facebook. If you haven't, subscribe here on the YouTube channel as well. And if you follow those things, you'll see our constant promotion of the TWSN Patreon. And that's because that team, those guys do a fantastic job at making you money. So please go check that out. And like I said, we have a lot more basketball in the forecast than we usually do, and we're gonna kind of start off with that. And I think most people probably tuned into something along in the All-Star game this weekend. But how was everybody's All-Star game weekend experiences? Anybody want to go first? Just take it away.
Infinitely better than the Pro Bowl. That would be the first way I would describe it. The All-Star weekend is still one of the best done All-Star breaks in American sports. I'd put it right up there with baseball. I really do think the NBA does some of the best. The skills challenge is great. 3-point challenge is great. And the All-Star game itself is incredible. Steph Curry put on a show in a crowd that booed him in Cleveland. What a performance, man. Steph is crazy.
Yeah. I like how you I think you might have intentionally left the dunk contest out of that, because you said
that happened?
Else.
I didn't realize the dunk contest.
Okay, I thought it was like an intentional slide at the dunk contest, because the dunk contest just hasn't been very good for the last couple of years. I mean, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon kind of ruined it for everybody. 2015, 2016, I think it was, and it just has not been the same. But yeah, I love All-Star Weekend is one of my favorite times. I'm a huge basketball fan, so it's just such a fun time. And the new format they put in for the All-Star game is just incredible. The guys are having fun. They're going back and forth. They're playing for charity. Each quarter actually means something. And then that final quarter, the real defense starts to be played. And you just have a collection of these all-star great players, all just trying to beat each other. And it's just so much fun to watch while still having fun. And it's incredible. The NBA does such a good job. And it doesn't matter where the game's played. It was played in Cleveland. Next year it's going to be in Salt Lake City. And the following year it's going to be in Indiana, where the Pacers play. And it's, it doesn't really matter, because it's just going to be a fun time. And I love it. It's great. And how fitting to have LeBron James hit the game-winning shot in Cleveland. You just can't make that up. It's just fun.
Yeah, and it's to the point where it's so successful that you see other teams, other leagues trying to replicate, the things that the NBA All-Star Game does with their All-Star games. You see the NFL trying to make these skill challenges recently, in the last 5 or 6 years. Dodgeball doesn't relate to any of the actual skill competitions. They do have the other skill competitions, but baseball's done their own thing for a while and it's been good. The home run derby is always a success, but the NBA All-Star Game, it's like their own tier of an All-Star game, and it's the most fun. People actually like to watch it. It's just not some weekend before a big event, just like the Pro Bowl or anything like that. It's good. It's fun. Staff again put on the show. It's fun to watch, and I like it a lot, especially coming from a casual NBA fan like I am. It's fun to watch.
It definitely is. And I think the thing that everybody wants to be fixed, the All-Star Weekend is so much fun already, but it's missing the thing that everybody gets so excited for in general, and that's the dunk contest. And I don't know how they fix it, because it's not like they don't ask all the good people to do it. They'll just say no. I don't really know. It's injury, whatever it is. There's no point to do it. But if they could ever get some of the top names again, get back into it, I don't know. I don't think there's anything that could beat the NBA All-Star Weekend. It's already so fun as it is. And, I don't know. I wish there was an obvious answer to get them back into it. But I don't know what the solution is for that.
I mean, I think go for it, Cody.
It's crazy. Like normally in years past, you see like, hey, these are the highlights from the dunk contest. Like they're blown up, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I legitimately have not seen a single highlight from the dunk contest this year. Not one.
I have. It's not great.
I understand it's not great. I understand that like it's hard to one up. Like eventually you kind of limit out what the ability is for these guys and you get more and try to get more and more creative, but there has to be some sort of incentive to get the best guys in there because I tell you what, like if LeBron James is in that dunk contest, even if he loses round one, there are going to be more eyes on that than there have been in the last decade, right? So we need to get some sort of star power in there. And I don't know if it's some of the young guys that are uber talented like John Morant and Zion Williamson, if you want to get some of the historically talented dunkers, like I know Levine obviously has been in there before, but like there are a lot of freak of nature athletes that are so good at their craft. It's a shame that, you know, the guys that are in there are borderline, you know, like sixth men at best.
There were better dunks in the actual All-Star game, I think, than the dunk contest.
I would agree.
You know, it's like Anthony, question for you. You said you're a casual NBA fan. Do you know who Obi Toppin is?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe stop it. Casual. Maybe.
Okay. I'm just saying, like this is not nothing. This is not, you know, slighting him whatsoever because he's a good player. But like, we need to get back to what we had in, you know, the early 2000s and everything, when you had like Vince Carter taking over the entire arena. You had Kobe in '97 just doing everything. Michael Jordan was in the slam dunk contest. Like, it's like the star players just don't want to do it. And like, I understand to a certain extent, you know, it's injuries and whatnot, but it's like, what's the point of playing in the All-Star game if you just do the slam dunk contest too? Like,
there's got to be a bigger incentive, you know?
Yeah. Like something needs to change. You know, like I remember during the All-Star game, they were interviewing John Morant and they were basically like, the broadcast was like, please do the slam dunk contest. Like, because John Morant would put on a show, like even if he loses, like, that dude is special. Like, I would love to see John Morant compete. Karl Anthony Towns, why don't you compete in the dunk contest? We've seen big guys go and doing the dunk contest. JaVale McGee had some of the most creative dunks I've seen in my life when he was there a while back. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I think we just need more bigger name players, and the dunk contest will kind of get back to what it was.
I think I was just sitting over here thinking of ever since I posed the question about how we can make it better. And I don't know if this is like a real possibility, but I was just kind of thinking of an idea to throw out there. And just in general, like, I think it'd be kind of cool if you can find a way to incorporate like professional dunkers outside of the NBA. Like, you see all these people on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is, just doing crazy dunks, whether it's, you know, one professional dunker, one NBA player as a team, or maybe it's all street dunkers versus NBA dunkers, and you go at it or something. Because
I like that.
At least you know the street dunkers are going to be out here doing some crazy stuff.
Bro, do that. You know, do that shit for $1 million.
Actually, do that though, because like,
I don't know.
Put $1 million on the line.
Their egos might take a hit if they lose.
Even if they don't, watching the professionals would be better anyway.
You know, I don't know. That gives the NBA players a reason to want to do it, because you're getting thrown up by players who don't even play in the league. Dunkers.
You would hope. I mean, you would hope it would make them one up the street dunkers. Yeah. I'm all for it because those street dunkers are crazy. Like, some of the
they do some crazy things.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Also, like like either before or after the celebrity game, we need a celebrity dunk contest.
Yes, please.
Give me Miles, like one of my favorite videos on the internet, and I watch it like 3 times a year minimum, is the dunk contest where it's like Deion Sanders, Ken Griffey Jr., I think Barry Bonds was in it. Like, some of the best athletes in the world who are not basketball players. It's just incredible. Like, could you imagine going out there and seeing like Odell Beckham Jr. and Usain Bolt and like, I don't know, like Tyreek Hill? You know, Tyreek can throw down. Yeah. Like, it would be insane.
The NFL should just do a dunk contest for their all stars.
Miles Garrett put on a show in the celebrity game.
I about crapped myself when the high jumper had the putback slammed.
Celebrity game's always fun, no matter what. But I'm all for a celebrity dunk contest. That would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Like
even lower the hoop for them if they need it.
lower it to like,
Bro, you get Kevin Hart out there on like a tight mini goal. He's like,
The Rock would have to come play too, and like he was just making fun of him the whole time. Like, the ratings would just be off the chart for the NBA.
oh yeah.
That'd be
awesome.
Back to what we've been saying. Like, these are so many possibilities for the NBA. But how do other leagues compete with this? Like, maybe if you have like a mini home run derby for baseball. I mean, the celebrity game for baseball is good. But like, what do you?
You can do a celebrity home run derby. Get Myles Garrett out there just jacking home runs.
Yeah.
Like, and they would pimp the hell out of those things too. Just like all the flexing and like gritting and everything that would happen. It would be electric.
Rightfully so.
Get more of that.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, the NBA does it right. Like, we're a few weeks away, past from the Pro Bowl, and man, like, it's crazy the differences.
The difference is
granted, one's in season, one's not. One's football, one's basketball. But like, I don't know. The NBA is just so much better with the way they promote this as well.
Make it fun. That's what it needs. It needs to be fun, and the Pro Bowl doesn't have like the fun, creative, like. Some of those things, like the quarterback challenge, is pretty cool. They like the dodgeball always gets some like pretty
fun.
It's all
cool
just
highlights,
like,
but
I mean, even the NBA's All-Star Game draft is fun. Like every year, it is fun when they have the two guys just picking teams and they're just joking with each other and like on TV. Like that's better than the actual Pro Bowl game for the NFL. Like that's a problem. If you're the NFL, that's a problem. Like,
well, maybe if you're like the NFL, you go like move like sevens. Like I don't know if the O lineman or D line would be kind of mad at that, but I feel like sevens would not only I think that would still have there'd still be the fun of the NFL there. Like you would actually have corners and receivers trying on each other because it's like all pro. It's all pro matchups every time.
Bro, let a lineman cover a lineman.
Lineman be the quarterback. I'm down.
Yeah.
Dude, just let a lineman be quarterback. Let anyone just screw around.
Have the Pro Bowl, but nobody can play the position they were supposed to. Why they got
exactly. Like, just do it. Why not?
Offense and defense has to stay on the field. It's like Street 2.
The defense plays offense, and the offense.
The street games were awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, NFL Street was dope. That was fun.
Bring those things back, man. I could go on a whole tangent about NFL Street. Those games were electric. Madden stinks. It is what it is.
It's not the best. But we're going to move into some more specific NBA talks, and something brought up in the chat here. This whole Zion Williams situation. And I mean, Zion obviously had so much hype coming in, he's been great when he plays, but he just doesn't seem to play. We saw JJ Redick's comments on him. He just now said something to CJ McCollum, and that's probably just because CJ McCollum was like, hey, this dude hasn't talked to me. Like, what's going on? So, I mean, Matt, what are we thinking about this whole Zion situation?
I mean, I have one thing to say about the Zion situation, and it's this franchise has had 2 star players since 2005, and they have both forced their way out of New Orleans. What makes us think that this is going to be any different? And honestly, Zion is arguably a bigger box office name than Chris Paul or Anthony Davis were when they left. So even if Zion doesn't play, the name Zion, people are going to gravitate to that because of what he did in college and the hype surrounding him, basically. The Pelicans organization, formerly the Hornets, they've just screwed up over the last almost 20 years at this point. How do you let all of your franchise guys leave, basically? Like at least one of them you would think would want to play there. Zion clearly doesn't want to be in New Orleans, hurt or not. He just doesn't want to be there. And you kind of got that vibe when they drafted him. The dude wants to be in a big market. He wants to be in New York. He wants to be probably New York, maybe LA, maybe Chicago. I don't know. But
not New Orleans.
Not New Orleans. No. Honestly, if Anthony Davis wasn't going to work out in New Orleans, I don't think any big time star player is going to work out in New Orleans unless they maybe are from Louisiana. That's the only way I could see it working for that franchise, basically.
So here's the question then. Right. If you don't see a star player like Zion Williamson working out in New Orleans, will New Orleans ever, as a franchise, be able to compete for a title?
I don't think so, no.
Then why have the franchise there?
I mean, aren't they the smallest market in the NBA, I believe? I think
That's
they are.
Question I don't know the
Are
answer
they?
to.
I think they are because I believe New Orleans and Memphis are two of the smallest, and it was kind of ironic that they ended up getting Zion and John Morant.
Yeah,
in that draft.
Matt, I know you went to your LSU days. Like, I mean, how is basketball down there? Can you tell it's a basketball city? Can you like obviously tell? Yeah, this place isn't really into basketball. What's kind of the vibe?
They're
down
more.
there?
It's a football state. Like 100%. That's a football state through and through. Like, like look at the Pelicans. Like their seats are empty most of the time. Like when they were good, when they made the playoffs, I think when they went up against the Warriors in the first round, and then they ended up sweeping Portland. Like the city was, there, but that's the playoffs. Like, almost any team, if your team makes the playoffs, people are going to show up just in case you happen to do something. Like it sucks because I think New Orleans has a good fan base, but it's like this franchise over and over again has just lost the ability basically to get their franchise guys to want to stay. Like Chris Paul is kind of a low key dude, and he was like, "I don't want to be here."
Yeah, he's been everywhere, but
And maybe management's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to look at ownership.
Something's terrible.
Like I don't know. It's sad because I do think the New Orleans fans deserve a winner, and who knows? Like I hope Zion gets back to full strength because when he's been on the court, he was good. He was really good last year.
And they added McCollum too. So
yeah, I mean, it's a good team. Like if he comes back, if he were to come back this season or just next season, they could compete for something. I don't know if they'd win a title, but like they might be able to make a top 6 spot in the West. Maybe they add some defense. Maybe I don't know.
They have decent pieces.
It's kind of a sad situation because it's like this dude had so much hype, and it's like I don't want to see him be the Greg Oden 2.0, basically.
God, that would not be very fun.
I just
don't happen for New Orleans,
because when he was at Duke, it was just so much fun, and like the hype surrounding this guy was crazy.
It was, and Duke's always good too, and like Zion made them even more fun, and
exactly.
Everybody hates Duke, Duke has that persona around them. Everybody's just Duke, but like Zion made them fun. Like nobody really cared when Zion was there. I mean, even though they choked in the tournament and really should have lost about 3 times before they did.
I still think the only reason the Knicks traded for Cam Reddish is just to attract Zion there at some point.
Yeah,
then it would be him and Barrett.
Definitely.
What was that, Anthony?
I said you brought that up during last week's show, and I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's maybe not a bad, it's not a bad take.
I mean, it's been rumored that Zion has eyes to New York, basically.
Yeah.
He's not a free agent anytime soon, is he?
No, but he can sign an extension, I believe, either this year or next year. His rookie extension. My question is he going to be the first person to basically deny his rookie extension and try to go see if he can hit free agency? If I'm him, I sign that extension and then be like, trade me.
It's looking that way. I don't know if it'll play out that way, but
I don't know. It's weird because has he done anything at all to deserve a max contract if he leaves? He's played 25 games.
He's played 85 games in those 3 seasons.
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, he's been good when he plays. I mean, but
still, who just looking at what he's done there, not just as a player, but you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be the number 1 overall pick, the guy who everyone looks at. If you don't want to be there, who would want to? I understand that there's maybe a desire for a better location or anything like that, or something like that. But if you're not doing the things that people look for, in a good basketball player, good leadership or good teammate quality, then why would anyone want to even take a flyer on that? Obviously Zion is Zion. If he's only played 85 games in 3 years, he's been out. He's had weight issues. As a professional basketball player, you're supposed to be taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, who would want to take a flyer on someone who's not in it?
He's what, 20, right?
He's still really young.
He's 20 years old, 21 years old. So
and to go off of that, why do you want to play with a guy like that too? First off, you have to go to New Orleans, which is already, and then you have to go, with the guy that has all these questions around him. Maybe moving on from him will attract somebody slightly better, another Brandon Ingram kind of guy. And then you have, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. That's all I got to say about it. I don't know.
I mean, Brandon Ingram seems to be enjoying himself in New Orleans.
Yeah. CJ McCollum's been off to a pretty solid start.
Yeah. I mean, so I feel like if they wanted to trade, if they wanted to, Zion was like, hey, trade me, you could probably get a nice haul for him and build something maybe in New Orleans.
I mean, you'd have to be able to get a lot. You'd never get a lot. I feel like.
But I mean, that might be the case if he's like, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird situation for New Orleans for sure. Really sucks. Really sucks.
It does.
Let's talk about a better situation. All right. Well, it's not positive news, but it is a better situation. The Suns, Chris Paul's injury, he's out, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Tough loss for the Suns. Currently the 1 seed in the West, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're 6.5 games up on the Warriors, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
do we think this impacts their ability to keep that 1 seed?
To keep it, probably, but like as long as he's back before the playoffs, that doesn't.
Yes and no.
Right,
because I think this is Devin Booker time. Like Devin Booker has been mentioned in the MVP conversation. He wants to be an MVP. This is the time to go out and prove it. You know, Chris Paul's out for probably the rest of the regular season at this point. Maybe he might come back like right before the playoffs if everything goes well. But it's like this team is really good. Like This is a very deep team. Cameron Payne is like good. He can keep, the pace with this. Chris Paul obviously is a leader, and, he makes life on the court easier for many players. But this is a really good Phoenix Suns team, and I don't see them dropping off too much. Booker's still really good. They still have DeAndre Ayton, who's really good. Mikal Bridges is like a star in the making at this point.
Yeah, they added their little depth pieces at the deadline.
Yep. What was that?
They added their 2 little. I forget who it was. One of the holidays.
Craig
at the deadline.
That's
why you add
Phoenix
guys like that.
Is fine. My question is, if you're a Phoenix Suns player, what do you think about Chris Paul playing in the All-Star game? This injury comes out, and then 3 hours later, he's dribbling the ball in the All-Star game.
It was a little weird. I mean,
it's a little odd. Like, I get it. He made the All-Star game, but like,
I figured he would have had it more secure than what he did. That's what kind of threw me off. I figured he might have had just a prevented like air wrap or something for the day, but no, just out there with a little something.
He never dribbling around, and I'm like,
he never used that
hurt.
Hand. Obviously, he never used that hand, but still, even being out there, putting it.
There's so much chance, bro.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
You could run into somebody. You could trip on your feet.
Yeah. It was a weird situation when I saw him come out on the court. I was like, wait a minute. Wasn't this guy just ruled out for like 8 weeks? Yet now he's dribbling and passing the ball. And then he did like some like layup that he ended up missing it, but it was just like, I don't know. If I was a Suns player, I might be like, dude, what is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, Devin Booker said in the middle of the game that they're still going to be the 1 seed. So,
I mean, I get it, but like at the same time, like it's Chris Paul. He's been there. He's done that. Like, I don't really think any of the other guys on that Suns team can really be like, seriously, man, like Chris Paul's battled. He's battled through some stuff. So it is what it is. You aren't going to talk to an old head like that in the league. Like, he's been there a long time.
Yeah.
On the NBA's All-75 team, too. He's a legend. But I agree with you, Matt, though. I think they're going to be fine, not just because of, Devin Booker. I do think that he'll, take that step up that everyone's been expecting him to take. But what do we talk when we talk about the Suns? We talk about how well they are as a team, how they work together, how Monty Williams has, kind of established this team-first mentality, even though that, they have their two, maybe three, if you count Ayton star players. I think they'll be okay. They'll have guys step up just like they had guys step up in the playoffs last year. I think Payne is more than good enough to do that, to fill Paul's role. And again, they're deep and they know how to work as a team. So I think that they'll still be fine. I'm sure that the grip on the 1 seed will loosen a little bit. They're not going to rattle off, so many wins to where they have 1 loss since December, except 2 losses since December. But I think they'll still be fine. I think they'll still be the 1 seed as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit I didn't believe in this Phoenix team coming into the year. I thought they were the benefit of some luck last season in the playoffs. But they proved me wrong. And I've said on this show, I think I said the other week, like, they're the favorites in my opinion. I think they're the best team in the NBA at this point. And I know for sure I don't want to face this team in the playoffs, whether that's in the Western Conference playoffs or any Eastern team that goes up against them in the finals. They play efficient defense. They can score at will on anybody. They can switch to counter any lineup that any other team has if they're, assuming everyone's healthy. But this Phoenix team is legit. They're battle tested. They got that experience last year. And I think they're motivated basically to right the wrongs of the finals last year when they dropped 4 straight to Milwaukee.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how the Suns, how they handle this Chris Paul injury. I mean, now we can kind of move on to another headline from All-Star Weekend, and the whole Cleveland. LeBron James had some comments this weekend that I don't think anybody was necessarily surprised by per se, but it was just nice. I guess nice to hear him actually say those words. He didn't close the door on a return to Cleveland, and he pretty much said, I'm going to play with my son wherever he goes. I'm going to end up going. Like I said, I think everybody kind of had that vibe, knew that was coming anyway. But like I said, it was kind of nice to actually hear it and know that he was going for it. But what are our thoughts on that?
I want to address the comments of playing with his kid. How does that affect Bronny's draft stock? Because I'm going to be honest. As of right now, I don't think he is a round 1 talent. He'll make the NBA because of his last name, but I really do not think he is any sort of special player, to be honest.
I think he's
weird.
a low-end second-round pick at this point.
Again, there was a lot of time. There's a lot of time before
he plays on one of the best high school teams in the nation. Like he's obviously not the best player on his team right now, but he's playing alongside other 5 stars that are awesome. I still don't think he's very good. He might not be a first round guy, but he could be easily. So, I mean, not easily, I should say, but I think his senior year, which I believe is next year. Yeah. Most of the 5 stars, I believe, will be gone, or maybe a couple hanging back. That year will be a big year for him. And obviously his college year, because obviously if he goes to one of these colleges where, like we said, he's not the best in general, he's very good. He's an athlete. He's LeBron James' kid. So I'm interested to see where his college decision goes. Because is he going to go to one of those bigger schools because he can, or is he going to go to one of those smaller schools where he can actually prove he's good or not? That's what I'm interested to see. I think everything about the situation is extremely interesting.
Yeah, and how high does it, if you know that LeBron James is going to come to your team, how high does that change that draft pick? You know what I mean? Would you be willing to spend a lottery pick to get LeBron James, 40-year-old LeBron James?
No, I mean, because he's going to be 39.
The Pelicans will.
Yeah, the Pelicans or the Sacramento Kings might do it, but I don't know. I feel like teams aren't going to do that in the first round. Once the second round starts going, I think that's when you're kind of on Bronny watch.
I guarantee if there is a team, right, if you're picking at the ass end of the draft, obviously you were competitive the previous season. You can't tell me that there's a team that was on the cusp of a championship run is at the ass end of a first round and they go, we can either draft a guy who might be a role player at some point in his NBA career, or we can get LeBron James for a year and try to do it. Try to do the damn thing.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, but no team's going to take this kid in the first 15 picks, though.
Guys, I don't even know why we're talking about this right now when he's a junior in high school.
Because he got named LeBron James Jr.
It's fun, Tony. All right.
He can get exceptionally better.
I think he will get better. I mean, I don't know how he doesn't get better. He's an athletic freak. I think everybody assumed that was coming, obviously, but
and LeBron could be some old head, he could be like LaMarcus Aldridge type by the time Bronny's in the league.
That's disrespectful. That is so disrespectful.
It'll be interesting to see where he is because,
LeBron's averaging 29 points a game right now, and this dude is not going to go under 20 points.
Freshman year, that's 3 years.
Yeah, LeBron's still going to be averaging at least 18 to 20 points in the
NBA.
You're right. Too. How many years of LeBron are you getting? Are you
Probably
drafting
one.
him?
Yeah, you get one. You get one. He ain't playing after
LeBron. Okay, if LeBron's not spending more than a year in Oklahoma City, I can promise you that.
Yeah, well, I think where he lands definitely matters. You know what I mean? Like if LeBron is in Indianapolis, I doubt there's I doubt he stays there for an extended period of time.
Any team that could draft Bronny LeBron would be like, no.
No.
You think there's any franchise in the NBA where if Bronny happened to go there, LeBron's like, I'm not playing there.
Especially after what he said, I don't think.
No, I really don't.
The urge is too strong.
Yeah,
we're gonna see LeBron in a Utah Jazz jersey or something.
I hope it is something.
He would do that though, because he would play with Dwayne Wade, part owner of the team. He would do that.
That's what I'm gonna say. Because you got to think, not only are you gonna get LeBron for the year, but LeBron's going to want to be around the team too, so you have LeBron around your team. He's, no idea what he's going to do ownership wise and everything and all that. But LeBron's going to be around your team. And that's a vital piece at that. So
money,
I don't know.
too.
There's a lot of factors.
You're going to get fans in the seats. Fans are going to be in the seats. And
there's
the media
a lot of factors.
Your ticket sales go way up.
Oh, God.
I hate
this. I kind of hope Bronny goes to I hope Bronny goes to Cleveland or New York. How cool would it be if Bronny went to the Knicks and you just got to see LeBron in the Knicks jersey for a year after all the talk throughout his career?
I hope he goes to the Spurs.
I mean, awesome.
Weird. The Pelicans.
Him and 80-year-old Popovich just
rolling through for a championship.
Incredible.
It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. He's obviously never seen anything like this ever in anything.
Yep.
It's just
my question to you guys, this is nothing with Bronny, but what do you think LeBron does over the next 2 years? You think he stays with the Lakers, or you think he is I don't want to be here anymore?
What if they don't make the playoffs this year? Then you really got to think about it.
I think he has to stay just because
he's guaranteed to be there next year unless they trade him.
And then he's already saying he's going to leave the Bronny's first year.
But there's 1 year in between. So is that the year he goes back to Cleveland, or you think he just stays with the Lakers for next year?
Another thing, what if Bronny doesn't even come out his freshman year?
I hate to say this. I could see LeBron signing with just one of those young superstars just to play with them and enjoy basketball.
Yeah,
imagine LeBron and Kevin Durant on the same team for a year. That would be
or Steph.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
I hate to say I'm not accusing LeBron of being a ring chaser. The dude is one of the best.
Every right
to
do it. For that
but
he's 40, yeah.
But I think if he just wants to enjoy basketball, what would make it really fun? Playing with another elite talent.
Yeah.
That would make it really damn fun.
He already does and has for the last 15 years.
I mean, yeah, but
he wouldn't be the number one guy on that team. I think that's what Coach is saying.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I think he would get to take a back seat, give his body a break, not have to go out, hard 30 points a night just to watch Russell Westbrook brick a 3 off the side of the backboard. So
hey, there will be no Russ slander here, sir. He's been playing better the last 3 games, so there's no Russ slander. We're in the middle of the All-Star break. We need to celebrate him on the NBA 75 team.
NBA 75. Hey,
if you were watching and they announced him, he's just waving to everybody. I'm like, how can you hate this man?
He's a good dude.
No, he's just not playing good basketball this year.
He's not.
I know. Nothing's more frustrating when somebody just sucks at a sport, but they're the nicest person in the world, man. And
it's people forget how good he was back in the day too. Yeah, he's such a good person. He gets so much hate just for everything he does. Bench Russ was trending on Twitter yesterday. And I'm like, dude, they've not played since last Wednesday. Why is this trending right now?
Yeah, that is tough.
I know.
I think it was because he had played with Steph, who went crazy, and then he's like, oh, now I got to go back to
Russ. Russ and Glass Knees Davis.
Glass knees.
And this is coming from someone who likes Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're gonna move off of the LeBron talk a little bit. We'll get back to LeBron in a little bit, actually, but we're gonna go into a little quicker segment. NBA edition, contenders or pretenders. We got a few teams. We're gonna name them. I'm gonna name a team. Quick little spiel. Doesn't have to be anything crazy long. It can be crazy long if you'd like it to be, but it doesn't have to be. First team, Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll go Matt, Anthony, Cody. Matt?
Pretender. Are we talking straight up this is the title?
To be in title contention.
Yeah, pretender.
So does that mean playoffs too then or what?
No, they can make
they're going to make the playoffs.
They're not sniffing the NBA championship, I don't think. Cleveland is good.
Can they play in the finals or the conference finals is what we'll go with for the determination.
Cleveland's a great story, and they are going to be good going forward. Not this year. It's too early. They'll probably be a first, maybe a second round out, depending who they play. But yeah, pretender for me.
I mean, there's always that doubt because you saw what the Hawks did last year, but I don't think so either. I mean, Garland's good. You're gonna have Sexton at some point, and then Allen's obviously they're both all stars. But I agree. I don't think that they'll get farther than the second round.
Yeah, I'm on the same page there. Right now, they're slotted at the 4 seed, and we'll play Milwaukee in the first round. That's a death sentence.
That's a terrible.
But I don't think they would beat the Heat, the Bulls, the Sixers, the Bucks, or the Celtics, and that's 5 teams. So that's tough. Not to say that the Cavs aren't great; they're building, but they got some room to improve yet.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The point that Anthony brought up, if they get Colin Sexton back, that'll be interesting for them as well. We really haven't seen them all play together at that level they have been. Not that it'll push them over the top necessarily, but just something you've never seen. Maybe, who knows? I don't think they are either. I think they're definitely a pretender right now. Next team, Cody just mentioned them, the Boston Celtics. How are we feeling?
Contender. I like the Celtics team. Coming into the year, I like the Celtics team. I like them, some of the moves they made. I like the coaching hire they made. They just need some time to work out in this new coach's system, and we're seeing what's going on at this point. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. They got 2 star players in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They've been here before. They went to the conference finals a couple years ago. They were 1 game from going to the finals. I like the Celtics team, and I think they could compete for a conference final or finals spot in the East.
Yeah, I agree. I think it just took them some time to, kind of find their groove. We were getting on the Celtics so much at the beginning of the year for how bad they were doing, and now they look great. They look like their old selves. So as long as they can, continue to do what they're doing, I say that they are also contenders.
I disagree. I think they're right on the bubble. But I don't think they have the juice to take them over the top in the East. In a star-loaded East, it's tough. I think they're right there, but I'm going to say pretender.
I'm right on the edge too. I think I'm going to lean contender just because they're arguably the best defensive team in basketball. I think the Derek White addition is better than people think. And just when you have a scorer like Jason Tatum with the defense around them, I think that's a pretty good recipe for success, whether it's, championship success, conference final success. Just in general, I think they have a good shot just because they have that unique recipe that not a lot of people have. Next team, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Contender. I love this Memphis team. I love what they are building here. And you know what? Ja Morant is a star. And this Memphis team is a problem. They're going to be a major problem going forward, but this year they're just a problem. And I could definitely see them upsetting some teams, getting to the conference finals and losing. This team is hungry. They play hard every single night, and I wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs if I was any of the other teams.
Yeah, I agree. It's to the point where, you don't think of Memphis as a Eastern Conference, stalwart to kind of say, but I think that gives them juice. They're not like any of the other teams in the East. They've built their own thing. They've done this well so far. How far can they keep going? I honestly think of the Bengals when I think of Memphis. How far can they keep going? And so I think that they are definitely a contender.
Yeah, I'll agree. You can't take a night off against Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been a stud for them. He's really come on this year. And yeah, star point guard, star big. It's a beautiful, beautiful recipe. Ja Morant is coming into his own, and I think he's going to have one of those. He'll have a playoff series this year that is going to be one of those he is for real. He is as real as it gets. And I'm excited for him to get his moment.
And let's not forget, during the All-Star game, they were talking to him, Ja Morant, about this. And he said, we got a taste of the playoffs last year because they went up against Utah. And I think they lost in 5. But they fought against Utah really well in that playoff series.
It was way closer than 5.
They should have stolen at least another game from the Jazz.
That's the thing with the Grizzlies that I think is important for them. The longer, they're one of the teams I think the longer they extend the series, the better it is for them because they're young, they're fast, they're energetic, and they're just going to wear teams down. So I think if they can get to that 6-ish game, I think they'll be perfect. They're definitely a contender for that reason alone. They fly around. Like you said, you can't take a night off against them. If you catch a team slipping one or two games in a series, you never know what's going to happen. Now, sticking in the West a little bit, the Dallas Mavericks.
This one's tough. I don't like betting against Luka, but I'm going to go pretender. I don't like the roster around him. Like Luka's good enough to get them a series. He's shown that the last couple of years, like himself almost taking down the healthy Clippers both years and 2 years in a row. But yeah, this roster isn't great. They need to surround him with another star player. They tried to with Porzingis, didn't work out. So in the offseason, they really got to do it because you don't want to waste this guy's potential. Like this dude might be the best player in the NBA if the way he plays. Like it's crazy. But yeah, I'm going with Pretender.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pretender too. I like that they added Dinwiddie, especially I like Dinwiddie myself. You know, when he was with the Nets, I feel like he was kind of a little underappreciated for how good he was defensively. He provided some offensive spark, but I mean, again, there's no one around him, and he's not had as good of a year as he did the year when he dismantled the Clippers and whatever team that was in the Western Conference playoffs. I'm forgetting, but I'm gonna go Pretender too. I don't think they get it done. Maybe they get the playoffs, but I think they'll lose first or second round. Nothing too far.
Yeah, Pretender, they stink.
I'm with you, Pretender. It's so tough and annoying to bet against Luka. The guy's unreal, but I just don't think they have the next guy to help him at all, and even in a little bit. So I think they're definitely Pretenders. Now, like I said, we're going to go back to LeBron a little bit. Matt, your Los Angeles Lakers.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this
Say
to me.
You can take a pass.
Say it out loud. Say it out loud. I want to hear it.
The Los Angeles Lakers are pretenders unless they play the Utah Jazz. Because for some reason they beat the Utah Jazz, and I really don't understand it. Like they own them, and I don't get it. But yeah, this is not a good team. Don't make the playoffs. They might win a series depending, because it's still LeBron, and I think in a one series thing he might be able to mask some of the flaws of Westbrook. But eventually Westbrook's going to do something, and it's going to cost them. So Pretender. I don't think this team can even go near the finals.
I know, like we say that, but like we've seen LeBron do like some crazy.
That's why it's hard.
And what's like, I know he's older, and like we say this every time, like, oh, he's getting older. Like, do you think he could like? I still can't believe he took that Cavs team to the finals. What year was that?
Which one?
No, the most recent one. The last year,
2018.
Yeah, that was absurd, and that team was way worse than the one they have now. And I know the West is harder. Like, there's a lot of things that we're not talking about. I know LeBron like has owned Toronto too, but like, I don't know. I guess I'd go Pretender too, but you never know with LeBron. You never know.
He gets in, and you just never know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They aren't beating the Suns. They aren't beating the Warriors. I don't think they'd beat the Nuggets. Like you said, the Jazz, because they've had their number, but like, yeah, they're Pretenders.
Yeah, I'm there with you. There ain't much else to it. We're gonna go back to another team in the East now, similar to the Lakers, the Brooklyn Nets.
Contender, assuming they're healthy. This Nets team is good, and they just got a shooter in Seth Curry, then Andre Drummond. Like, the Nets. I think the Nets won the Harden trade, in my opinion. We'll see what happens with that, but they added some depth to a team that needed it. And if they can get Kevin Durant back healthy, if Ben Simmons can come back in a good frame of mind, and Kyrie can just play in the home games, I think that's the biggest thing. Is Kyrie going to be able to play in the playoffs? But if he is, I think they're straight up a contender.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Contender too. I think even you look at like COVID trends right now, we're doing pretty well. A lot of restrictions are being used and stuff, so you have to assume that by April, May or so that restrictions are going to be kind of more relaxed. That at least I'd hope and assume and relatively pray. So, but yeah, I think they're contenders too, and I think like you said, Matt, I definitely think they won the James Harden trade. Ben Simmons is a playmaker. He's lanky defensively. He's everything they needed. Plus, they added 2 shooters in Seth Curry, and they just signed
Goran Dragic.
Dragic. So I definitely think they're contenders. I think they're gonna go pretty far in the Eastern Conference Finals or in the Eastern Conference, and I think they're gonna do as well as people said they're going to do at the beginning of the year without one of their star players. So
at full strength, they are contenders. The question is whether or not they're going to be at full strength. So we'll see.
That's a big question. I'm there with you. The whole Kyrie thing is going to be interesting. I don't know how to feel it. I think they can be a contender with or without him. Assuming Ben Simmons isn't terrible anymore, whatever. Just in general, the Kyrie situation is going to be super interesting, man. Hopefully it works out for the Nets. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. But if they all can play, yeah, they're pretty easily contender. But it's just that big if. Really, really big if. We'll see how it goes. I think that's going to wrap up the NBA discussion for right now. We'll have, actually some NBA games and stuff to talk about as it comes. You still got a couple more days. I believe it picks up, Thursday or something?
Thursday, yeah.
I believe is when it comes back. So we got a couple more days before that. Now we're going to move into some NFL talk a little bit. And quickly, we'll touch on the whole Aaron Rodgers saga that happened overnight and today. Anybody have any thoughts you wanted to share about that? Just Aaron being Aaron. I guess
that you've hit the damn nail on the head. It's Aaron being Aaron. Who died. Cool. Hey, good for Pat McAfee, I guess.
Yeah, good for him, man.
It's been great. But cool.
You want to know what Aaron? I think honestly he's done. Honestly. I think this is it.
Done.
Yes.
I think he is too.
I'll believe.
I think he comes back.
I don't know.
I think he comes back, dude. I can't, dude. Aaron Rodgers is kind of a diva, right? And he likes to be in the limelight and spotlight. There's no way this dude retires in the same offseason that Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger do.
I don't know.
Think about that Hall of Fame class, though. That Hall of Fame class would be stacked.
Oh yeah. But I just see Rodgers coming back, man. He said today, he thinks he can still play. And he was arguing. He was being oh, we got a big contract extension possibly for number 17 in Green Bay. He's advocating for Devontae Adams to get a contract with the Packers. I think he comes back at least for another year.
That's why I think he's done, because they had their whole thing that they were going to be package deal. They're going wherever they want to go. And then he comes out with this, and then yesterday, the Instagram post, and then he says that about Adams. When Adams has said, when they both wanted to say they wanted to be with each other, now he's advocating for Adams to want to get the contract extension in Green Bay. I think he's just gonna be done, and I think that he's maybe told Devontae that already. I don't know. That's just my somewhat educated guess about what's going on. I think, Logan, I don't know if you're feeling the same way, but you did say that you think he's gonna retire too.
I have a feeling he's just going to retire just because I don't think that's what anybody expects. And I think that's how Aaron likes to live. He doesn't like to – if you think you know what he's going to do, he's just going to do the opposite just because he doesn't want you to be right, and he wants to be right. Well, I have no clue how it's going to happen, what's going to happen at all. Like I said, Aaron's going to Aaron, and we're just all just going to have to wait and see what he does pretty much at this point. Whatever.
Yep. We'll see this offseason.
Yeah, it should be a really fun offseason. We'll have some offseason stuff to talk about here in the next couple of days. Free agency starts in a little under a month. It's going to be awesome. We'll have some episodes where we break that down as well.
Players can start being franchise tagged today. So.
Yeah, we saw some cuts today. But yeah, the next NFL topic is a little bit of an interesting one. We saw that they recently partnered with the XFL. Nobody quite knows the direction or kind of why it necessarily happened, but how we feeling about that? What do we think could come of this possible, just whatever. What do you think is going to come out of this partnership?
I think first and foremost, it sets up the XFL for long-term success. It is the one thing that quite frankly, the XFL itself hasn't been able to do up to this point is secure a sponsorship with the NFL or working in conjunction with the league. And that is what any of these minor football leagues needed to do in order for them to be successful. I think essentially the partnership is going to allow the XFL to look at rules, gameplay changes, that kind of thing for the NFL. So it gives essentially the NFL a minor league type system to build around. Now, is it going to be a farm system for players? I don't necessarily believe that's the case. The reason I say that is the NFL is different than any of the other four major sports where hockey, you can be drafted in high school. MLB, you can be drafted in high school. college basketball, it's one and done, right? These kids are 19 going to the pros. NFL, you don't have that, right? You have 3 years minimum before you can get into the league. Most guys are 20, 21 years old by the time they're getting into the NFL. So I don't think it's going to necessarily be a farm system, but I do think it'll be hey, look, it's spring football. It'll appease fans for a little bit. And more importantly, you'll get to test out like possibly a new overtime rule, kickoff rules, player safety stuff, things like that the NFL tries to do in the preseason a little bit, but like, again, it's preseason, so you can only do so much. It'll give them a testing ground. And I think it's going to be good for both the XFL and the NFL. I would love to have consistent spring football. I think it would be good for football fans and fans of the NFL.
Yeah. So going off of that, you got something to say, Anthony?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it'd be NFL's best interest if it were actually like a minor league thing, because everyone always says that, like, in college too, you're like, you always will have like the Georgias and Alabamas that like will breed NFL players where, a quarter, maybe even a third of their teams are NFL ready, which is just absurd. But you will always have a majority of players in college be on the edge of, college ready and pro ready. And I feel like an XFL would be, or, the XFL would be a great minor league, breeding ground for college players competing against, guys who are maybe good or have fallen off a little bit in the NFL to maybe, play against each other, and create that minor league type of environment for potentially getting into a better situation in the NFL. So I definitely love the idea that they're doing this. Again, spring football has always been the goal. You got the USFL right now, but I guarantee the USFL does not last long with what now is, going on with the XFL and the NFL.
USFL draft going on currently. If you want to go check that out, don't wait till after the show. But anyway, just like we kind of did with the contenders and the pretenders, I'm going to go through and tell you some XFL rules. And we're going to talk about if you guys think the NFL should try them or just implement them into the NFL. Just, it doesn't have to be anything. Just there's some really unique rules in the XFL. And I think that's something that the NFL really wanted to work with them on, is because have some more fun rules, some different help find an overtime rule like Cody mentioned, whatever it is. But I'm going to give you a few and we're going to talk about them. Same order: Matt, Anthony, Cody. The first one, it's similar to college. There's no 2-minute warning. The clock stops after every first down in under 2 minutes.
No, I don't like it. I think that's good for college, not for professionals.
I would agree.
I would only like it if there was a 2-minute warning. Then maybe. I don't know. But I mean, I'm so used to NFL rules now. I don't know.
It's weird. Like, I think it works really good in college. I like how it works in college a lot. I think it'd make it the NFL a little more like it makes it a little easier, which I think it doesn't necessarily need to happen in the NFL. But I don't think it'd be a bad thing by any means. I just don't necessarily think it's like needed for percent.
It's really hard for situational football to be done at the collegiate level. New guys all the time. You're doing a constant rotation. At the NFL, I think that's part of being a great football team, is being good in the 2-minute drill and those types of situations. So I wouldn't want them to take, because that takes a lot of strategy away from like when do you spike the ball? When do you use your timeouts? Like, how do you utilize? I think it changes the game, and I don't think it changes it for the better, personally.
Yeah. Okay, so now another one, the XFL, when they had it, they said they talked to their fans. They said the most boring thing in the game is punting the football. Sorry, punters. That's what they said. So their change that they were doing was that there's the gunners can't leave on the punt until the ball is in the air. So just kind of giving more opportunity for bigger returns, cooler plays on the return, whatever it is. How do you feel about that?
No, I like punters. Like, punters get a bad rap. I think, having a good punter really can change a game. And I don't want to mess with that, to be fully honest with you.
I mean, it takes away from punters a little bit, but I don't think it like completely, wipes them off of the situation, like the situational game calling. Like,
You're still going to punt.
All you're doing is just holding gunners until the punt's.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
You're still going to punt. It's just going to set up possible returns.
Better returns instead of a 3-yard or like I said, they hated the punts because there were just so many fair catches in the XFL. So it kind of they wanted to reduce that a little bit, and that's their proposal that they were going to try out.
That would be the number one way to reduce fair catches without eliminating the fair catch, which would be a massive player safety issue.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. Why not try it out? Was it worst case scenario? It doesn't work.
I could see that being a preseason thing for sure. It doesn't really change a preseason game. See how it tests out. Now we got some more fun ones with these next few. So in the XFL, you are allowed 2 forward passes as long as the first one is completed behind the line of scrimmage still.
So it's kind of like rugby in a way.
It's just like you don't have to throw it behind you to throw a second pass pretty much.
I mean,
like you throw
not?
a screen. It's just
why not? Like
that's electric.
Yeah, like it might make the game really a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
like why not?
Yeah. Sick.
It'd be fun.
Hey, it adds a different dimension to the game that now defenses
a new
have
style
to
of offense.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna have to see it every play, but like it makes it different. Yeah. Something I would love to see, because technically a shovel pass counts as a pass. You get one of those like little front shovel pass, and then the tight end drops it over the top. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that would be pretty neat. All right, I'm sold.
That's a fun change. That's definitely a fun change. Now, this one is also interesting. So in the XFL, there's no kicking an extra point. So you can run a play from the 2-yard line, the 5-yard line, or the 10-yard line. If you score from the 2-yard line, if you score from the 2-yard line, you get 1 point. If you score from the 5-yard line, you get 2 points. If you score from the 10-yard line, you get 3 points. And you get to choose, obviously, which one you go for.
There's no kicking. Like you don't even have the option to kick.
No single kicks. It's just one of those 3.
All right. I think this would be something I'd want to try out in like preseason and see if it worked and how it kind of went by. Because like I don't know, like the extra point thing, most of the time they do make it, but there are those weeks in the NFL where like kickers just miss and it totally changes the game.
I also think
Super Bowl.
I think this is a great rule for the XFL, and I don't think it would be a great rule for the NFL, because the NFL, like, there's probably 15, 20 kickers that are really damn good, and then you have your like rotational kickers at the bottom tier there. Your kicking talent in the XFL is not going to be great. So I think this makes it a lot more exciting. I don't think I would want to see this rule transition to the NFL, but for the XFL, I think it would be pretty cool.
College could be fun.
College. I love college kickers. I love college kickers. Chaos.
Listen, like, I like I said, I do it for the intramurals. We do like a Greek league. So I play for my fraternity, and it was fun. Like doing the 1, 2, 3 point, like obviously we would always strategize. Like it would be an argument every time we score a touchdown. Like, oh, let's go for more. But it'd be something like that with the XFL, and I would like that. But I'd agree with Cody too. I don't think it'd be a fit in the NFL. I feel like NFL is traditional to do anything like that.
I agree. Definitely be fun. No denying that. Oh, yeah. But the last one, the controversial one, the one everybody wants to know, is the XFL's overtime rules. And the overtime rules, each team gets to run 5 plays from the 5-yard line, and whoever scores the most touchdowns wins the game. And if you tie, you keep going until one team scores more than the other.
Ooh, I like that.
So you have 5. So basically, it's like 5 4 things.
5 1-down plays.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you're either 1 for 5, 0 for 5, 2 for 5, whatever.
Shootout style.
Smart.
Why not?
Yeah.
5 yards. 5 yards is, there's plenty of plays in the playbook that you could do 5 yards with. Like,
yeah.
Why not?
I love that.
Yeah, that's better than what we have now, I think.
Statistically, how is that going to be counted? Right? Because we can't go out here and be like, well, Cooper Kupp had 4 touchdowns this game because he caught 1 in the thing and a 3 in the overtime.
Maybe those don't count.
Yeah, maybe we count them as 2-point conversions or something.
Yeah,
but
2-point conversions or something like that.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah,
but I do like the idea. I like the idea.
You mean, Cody?
Huh?
For fantasy purposes.
Yeah, well,
for everything. Because then Cooper Kupp would have 80 touchdowns.
It would be insane. You get a guy that would change. It would also make players like Mike Evans, who dominate a red zone, or prime Jimmy Graham or prime Gronk who dominated red zones way more valuable. So I like that. I would love to see how it worked in the XFL because I hate the NFL's overtime, quite frankly. Hate it. So I think it would be interesting to see if it works. Slide that thing over.
I think out of all of them, that's the one I could see obviously happening the most, just because the overtime rules are so like nobody likes them. They're not necessarily bad. They're just not the best per se. But who knows? Who knows what this partnership is going to come out of it? It's obviously going to be a good thing, hopefully, for both parties. Hopefully, the XFL, we can have some sort of longevity, some minor league-ish systems. I think that'd be awesome for the game. It'd be the only sport that really doesn't have one like that. Maybe we'll get some fun rules. Who really knows? But we'll have to see what comes out of it. I'm definitely excited to see. Now we're going to move to a topic we haven't really touched on too much here, but we're going to with March Madness coming up. Let's talk a little bit of college basketball, some surprise teams, some fun players, whatever you want to do. Cody, I know you're the most into college basketball here. What kick us off?
Look, I love me some college hoops. And for most people out there, I know it's all right, football's over. I have watched, you watched the Duke Gonzaga games, the Arizona, Kentucky, stuff like that, right? But now we are in prime college basketball season. We are starting to get into the heat of conference play before we get into conference championships, before we get into March Madness. So I want to give you a quick, all right, here's what's going on. And the first is your best 4 players in college basketball. These are the guys that you're going to want to keep an eye on for your NBA draft. These, in my opinion, it's going to be the first 4 names called. These are the guys that I make a point to watch. Number 1 is Chet Holmgren for Gonzaga, an absolute stud, freak 7-footer. I think he's shooting above 50% from the 3-point line. Nothing about the way he plays basketball makes sense, and it's beautiful to watch. I love it. It's incredible. Number 2, Jabari Smith for Auburn. Not your typical blue blood basketball powerhouse, but Jabari Smith, I think he's going to be the number 2 pick in the draft. An absolute freak of nature athlete. He could be he reminds me of Jason Tatum the way he scores the basketball. He's a phenomenal scorer. Electric to watch. 3rd is Paolo Banchero for Duke. I think he was going to be the number 1 pick, or supposedly. I have him at 3. Duke's going to be talented. Paolo's no exception. So fun to watch. And then 4th is Jaden Ivey for Purdue. Freak athlete. I don't think he knows how to play defense, but offensively, he can dunk from anywhere. Unbelievable. Freak athlete to watch. So those are my 4 guys that, like, when they are on TV, I am watching. It's appointment television for me.
It's appointment television.
I would even add on a few other guys. I feel like this year, especially, there are so many one player star teams that you just need to watch. Like you've got, I know Juzang's kind of done a little worse for UCLA this year, but still, John Juzang to me is what must watch TV. You've got the guy from Auburn. Oh my God,
Jabari Smith. Yes.
Smith.
Yep.
He's unbelievable too. There's just so many players like that we'll get to know a little bit before March Madness. I'm sure you guys will all start watching some games and get to know their names more. But yeah, I think this is going to be one of the most exciting March Madness years we've had in a while.
It definitely is going to. And I think one of the most exciting things about March Madness is, your Cinderella teams, your teams you never really heard of that come out and play really good, the star players that come from nowhere and play really good. There's 2 teams I kind of wanted to give a little heads up on, some teams I think can have some really Cinderella-like runs with some good star players I've never heard of. 2 teams. First one, Colorado State. Colorado State is like 22-4. They're good. They have a guy by the name of David Roddy. He's literally out there playing. He's built like a tight end. He's 6'5", 260, playing basketball.
Logan's watched my TikTok.
I have not watched your TikTok, but everybody else should go watch his TikTok. This guy averages 20 points, 7 assists, 5 boards. Like, he does it all.
Stat stuffer.
Yeah. And when you're built like that, I don't know how many people in the nation have somebody who can guard you. But do you want to keep talking about your guy since I stole him from your TikTok or whatever?
No, I will add on though. Like they are definitely they've only lost 4 times. They are kind of bad losses. They've been in the top 25 a little bit, but they play in the Mountain West. So like when they do slip up, which most teams will slip up, that's been relatively bad because they're playing weaker, conferences. So, but I like Colorado State too. They're definitely going to be an at-large team in the tournament. They can even be the the automatic bid from the Mountain West, which they certainly could.
Yeah.
So I like Colorado State too. They've got a few other guys that I'm actually forgetting the names of right now. But
yeah, you're good.
Isaiah Stevens is good too.
Yeah, I mean they got a good team. They're 22-4 for a reason. Another team I love a lot more than Colorado State is this Wyoming team, man. Wyoming is so good. They have 2 players. Hunter Maldonado averages 25 and 6. That's unheard of as well. And they have another big guy, their center, averages 21 and 10. So when you have the star players and you have a couple other guys around them, your smaller school, it only takes one dominant game. And when you have, like I said, you have these role players, but you have that one stud. That's all you need to pull off one upset in March Madness. And these 2 teams, I mean, obviously we'll see where they land. Maybe, who knows where they will land. That's obviously going to determine a lot of things. But at this point in time, I think those are 2 teams that I really like to probably knock off some schools that you're probably a fan of. But like I said, we'll see where it ends up. Selection Sunday is not too far away.
It's the 13th, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's March 13th.
So a couple Sundays.
A couple weeks.
Selection Sunday is always a blast, man.
Well,
I can't
one
wait,
of the
man.
best. Filling out brackets, you can't there's no greater joy than just sitting down after the Selection Sunday, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna fill out the perfect bracket,
and then it breaks the first game.
Never happens. I'll fill out 40 brackets, and I have a problem. Like brackets and mock drafts are like the 2 things that get me through the spring, winter, like the back end of winter when the weather's crappy. That keeps me sane. So I will fill out so many brackets. It's incredible. I love it.
The mock draft, yeah, I can relate to the mock draft thing. I love March Madness. I'm not really a bracket person.
I'm with you, Cody. I fill out at least 10 brackets every year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's kind of like to sit back and I'll probably do, 1 or 2. I'm sure we'll do one within the company and a bunch of places like that. But I kind of just like to sit down and watch a madness and not feel bad when I'm wrong.
Well, I don't check anything until the end.
I think that's what it comes back to, just hating being wrong.
I always my team I picked to win always loses in the first round, and I'm like, well, there goes my bracket.
Yeah, we tried. We'll have a bracket going between us, and we'll see who wins.
Oh,
I don't know who it's gonna be. We'll see.
Hey, maybe we do a little TWSN show challenge. Huh?
Yeah, we will. We'll work up a little something.
Okay.
We'll work up a little something.
Always love a good competition.
Absolutely. But we'll have some more March Madness talk. We'll break down Selection Sunday when it happens. That's gonna wrap things up today for this week's edition of the TWSN show. Like I said, we'll have some more NFL free agency news coming up with the upcoming weeks. We have March Madness. Maybe we'll get into a little baseball here and there if that ever comes out. But, that's going to wrap up today. We have a lot of jam-packed shows coming for you in the future. But just a reminder to follow along on the TWSN social media channels, on the Instagram, subscribe here on the YouTube, follow along on the Twitter. And please check out the TWSN Patreon. We're going to have a lot of, March Madness bets, a lot of NBA bets cooking right now. They're doing a great job. They have always done a phenomenal job, but please go check them out. Like I said, that's going to wrap things up for us this week, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.